Fellow countrymen and women, it is very absurd that majority of the citizens do not immediately realize the effect of corruption. When they see a bad road or lack of medicine in hospital, they rarely think it is corruption. Today we are going to share with you insights on how we can fight corruption and how it looks like, and we're going to also give you some of the remedies how you as a young person out there can fight the corruption. My name is Derrick Massette, a student at Kakira Secondary School, and next to me is a senior citizen who believes that corruption is negatively injuring the health of our dear country, Uganda. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon.
Sir, share briefly, tell our viewers about yourself.
I am Stephen Awile. I'm Chairman PTA Kakira Secondary School. At the same time, I'm the Regional Secretary representing workers in plantation, that's under National Union Plantation Agriculture Workers, Uganda.
Sir, how does corruption look like in Uganda?
Corruption, briefly, I can tell you that corruption is lack of integrity or being dishonest. That's how I can describe what corruption is.
Thank you. In line with education, what are some of the activities that clearly pinpoint corruption in the sector?
We have all the policies in place. We have policies in place. We have budgets in place, which is made to be put in those places to make sure that they benefit the sector. But the challenge comes here in is I've talked about the being dishonest, lack of integrity. So somebody who's going down there to implement the policies, to implement the proposals, to implement the budget, does not do it the way either the cabinet or parliament passes it.
So you talked about the implementation. So how does the implementation goes into very deep to affect the learners who are actually in the learning institutions?
Now you see, now we have learners, and learners must be able to have facilities to use. One, buildings. Two, the school can need books, and somewhere it also affects the school performances. May need books, may need computers. But if those things are supposed to be put in place and it has been budgeted, it is supposed to put up a building. You can see, the other time I was seeing on TV, children in Uganda, children studying under a tree. How do you expect those children to come up and perform better when they're studying under a tree?
So what do you think the learners can do in order to fight that vice?
Fight that vice, learners may not have much, but the challenge is the local leaders, the leadership who are in place. Because once you see, when you educate a child, you're educating a nation. Okay? So as you as a leader, either an LC1, an LC2, LC3, and MB in that area, you need to do the follow-up. Now these children can come to a leader in the community. Say, please, we have a problem. At our school, there's no structure. At our school, there's no even a toilet. I've seen children sharing the same with the teachers. Get it? So there's no water. So they cannot complain, but they can complain through the leadership. So the challenge here is on the leadership. As a leader, you have received a complaint from these children. What do you do?
What could be the reason why the learners might fail to be able to express themselves to the leaders about the challenges they are facing?
As children, you need to mediate the relationship between you and your leadership, between you and your parents. Because when you bridge that relationship between you and your parents, you bridge the relationship between you and the leadership.
Okay, sir. In line with the health sector, there is a tendency of many citizens, you reach in the hospital and you see a lack of medicine, and majority of us rarely think it's because of corruption. How does corruption occur in the health sector?
I have said corruption, and I have talked it is lack of integrity. You find these drugs are brought. At the end of the day, the people in the medical are supposed to make accountability of the drugs they received. But because of the corruption, you get these drugs. You find that area is too big. Because it begins, you can say we begin from the National Drug Authority down to where this health center 2 is. So you find when the drugs are brought, they are supposed to account, the people are supposed to account for these drugs. But because you lack integrity, being very dishonest, one thing challenge which I can see is because of low payment. Somebody is given drugs which may under him maybe about 10 million, okay? But this is a person who's earning, this is the temptations now, this is a person who's earning maybe 400,000 or 300,000, okay? But because of his own demand and his selfishness in him, you find that this person will plan to use the pen to write some wrong things on the paper so that he can get these drugs, transfer the drugs. When people come, they want the drugs. They find that drugs are not there. But in actual sense, when you look at the bill card or the cards where they receive these drugs from National Drug Authority, drugs were received.
So, sir, like if the young people have identified such corruption in the health sector, what can they do to make an outcry to the public to ensure that the leaders know that the people in the health sector are doing activities that are contrary to what they're supposed to do?
Yes, it goes back to what I said at the beginning, that you must be able to maintain, create that relationship between you and your leaders. So
is the person who becomes silent also a victim of corruption?
No, he's not, but actually he's promoting corruption. He's promoting corruption because he's there supposed to help to tell about the corruption, the corrupt people. But by being silent, you can't be right to say he's by promoting he's also doing corruption.
Looking at also the behavior of the workers in maybe the health sector and maybe the education sector, there is a tendency of habitual late coming. Is that contrary to integrity, and can we say it is corruption?
Exactly. Because you see, it is a delaying tactics. Forget it. Because all appointments are signed, and in your appointment, you know the time you are supposed to report on duty and the time you are leaving duty. There's that break. That was very clear. In that, there are terms and conditions, which is stipulated very clearly. So you cannot tell me that you don't know the time, the reporting time.
Wow, interesting. So, sir, looking at the infrastructure, the sector of infrastructure, when we see a bad road, is it a guarantee that it is because of corruption?
This is straightforward. As I've said from the beginning, when you go back and look at the government programs, there are roads which are made for the district. There are roads which are made for town council or Gomolola. There are roads which are made for UNORA. All these roads are gazetted, and all of them have budgets.
So the structures that the government has put in place to fight corruption have been there for quite a long time, but we don't see the young people out there in the field fighting corruption simply because of challenges here and there. And could it be because of the youth? And maybe what recommendations can you maybe make for the government to support the young people?
No, but the government has been supporting the young people. The government has been supporting the young people. But the problem is the young people's leaders don't support themselves.
There is also a tendency of the elders saying that the young people are meant to be seen and not to be heard. So how terrible is that thought?
That's not true. Because people like me, I believe the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. So if we deny them the leadership, how are we going to prepare them for leadership tomorrow when you're denying them their leadership chances now?
Thank you very much. Mr. Awile Stephen has said it all. Integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is watching. To the young people out there, you need to be bold and speak up, because silence when evil is being committed, you're giving it a leeway to take roots and triumph forever. We should be united to fight against corruption, because we the young people, we have a more lifespan. We're going to stay longer. So we're going to stay with the corruption. If we don't fight the corruption, we shall suffer in the future. So fellow countrymen and women, a corruption-free Uganda, it starts with me, it starts with you, it starts with us. So if we can have more of Gwanga Muje and less of government at Tuyambi, then our country will be finally built by we, the citizens, and not the government alone. Because remember, the responsibility of making Uganda a better country, it lies within the citizens and not the government alone. A corruption-free Uganda starts with me, it starts with you, for God and my country.